we'd finish the song and I'd be like, excuse me while I go get this iPad. And I go like, you know, like you hear my shoes like across the floor, you know, and then I grab this iPad and I'm like, you know, scrolling through. So this person said this. Thank you.
Cool. So this podcast is all about you and your journey in music, and we'll talk about the new Weathers record as well.
Sick. Awesome.
Cool. So where were you born and raised?
I was born in, technically I was born in Torrance, California, but I was raised in Hermosa Beach, California. Spent a couple years in a small town in Illinois, which is kind of connected sort of to how I met my drummer. But
okay.
I spent all my life though out in Southern California, and yeah.
Rad. Yeah, I'm originally from San Diego. I moved to Nashville, but
oh, nice. I love San Diego. That is an amazing town.
I just remember when I used to be on the radio for like 16 years. I was at 91X, and we played the hell out of your records. At least in the beginning there, we played I think Happy Pills for a while, and we ended up playing I don't want to know for a while, and yeah, it was love the records, man. Cool. Well, so born and raised in Southern California, how did you get into music?
Well, I've always kind of been in music growing up. I've always been in like various like music groups, you know, school choirs, that sort of thing. But it wasn't until I was 13 years old when I was like, I don't want to be told what to do in music anymore. I just want to do it. I just want to do it myself, you know. I didn't know anything about writing music. I had no idea where to start, what to do. So I just started with like a feeling, I guess, and wrote with a couple of my friends. And then about mid to late 13, I just started my first ever band.
Really?
And we sucked. Yeah. Yeah, we focused more on just having fun than actually playing music. But I was a piano player growing up, and I taught myself how to play guitar. And that band honestly just kind of snowballed into what is Weathers now. So like since I was 13, I was always in a band.
Okay.
And then like members would change. We kept changing our names and blah, blah, blah. And it just snowballed. And then late 2015, we landed on Weathers and with this lineup. And we were like, all right, this is the first time we feel like we actually found something that we really like. And we were like, this actually sounds like really good. I think we're onto something, and we like what we're doing. And we were like, let's take this full on seriously. And we got super lucky and got signed right out of high school, and you know, everything just kind of went from there.
Sure. Well, what was the moment you said at 13? It was when you decided, hey, I'm going to start doing this, you know, for you.
Yeah.
Like, what was that moment? Like, do you remember why you chose to do that?
I mean, I don't remember the exact moment itself. I just remember being like, I just don't want people telling me what to do anymore. I think I was in some sort of show or like doing something that was involving school or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I just remember being like, this isn't my thing. Like, I don't like this. I don't like these people. I don't like having like some professor, you know, telling me how I should do music and whatever. And I'm just like, this is not, I don't care about this. You know, I grew up listening to like bands obviously and stuff, and I was always a band guy. And so, you know, doing non-band kind of music at the time, like through school, was just, I don't know, felt kind of dumb to me. And so I just wanted to do me, you know, and just start like a you know, my first band, which was just like everyone at the time, like everyone's first band. It was a pop punk style.
Of course.
You know? Yeah, that's how everyone starts, right?
Yeah.
So,
especially in Southern California.
Yeah, that's kind of how it started.
Kind of hard to get away from it.
Exactly. Oh yeah, totally.
Well, you said you played piano. Is that the first instrument you learned how to play?
Yeah. I started piano when I was 4, and I stopped kind of practicing and stuff, or stopped taking lessons, I guess, when I was 13. And I should be a lot better at piano than I am, but I just didn't practice a lot and slacked off. So,
were you playing recitals?
Yeah.
I mean, when did you? 4? That's really young. I mean, I have a 5-year-old. I can't imagine putting him on he has a little drum. We got him a drum kit over COVID, but like a electronic one, so he just smashes around on it. But I can't imagine him playing like sitting down and focusing on like playing chords on the piano. I mean, how early were you playing in recitals and stuff?
I actually only have ever done one recital my whole life.
Oh, okay.
Thank God. Yeah. And I was not prepared for it. I messed up so much, but I was able to kind of bullshit my way through it. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Cool. And then 13, you started your first band. What was that, like 8th grade or something like that?
I would say like 8th grade. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it was the summer going into 8th grade, I believe.
Okay. And then when did you guys start playing? I mean, when did you start playing shows with that band, or did you play shows?
We just played like friends parties and stuff like that. Like we didn't actually play any shows until we were in high school. And it was a kind of a new lineup, new iteration, some old members. And this was the first time I met my current bass player. So Brennen is the oldest member of the band, and he joined us in high school. And that's when we actually started playing some shows. We started playing, like, we did like the Hollywood Strip, you know, like we played like the Whiskey A Go-Go, and like we played the Roxy once, and then we played the, you know, like the Viper Room and like the Avalon, and
that's rad.
Yeah, stuff like that. So, you know, but we were all like 15-year-old, you know, 14, 15-year-old kids. So like we'd play the shows and they'd have to kick us out because they were all bars, you know.
Right. You said you met your drummer when you were in Illinois. Like what was that?
Kind of. We should have met when I was in Illinois.
Okay.
Yeah. So my drummer's dad and my dad actually played in a band together, and that's because they grew up in the same hometown. Yeah, which was this small town in Illinois. So for a brief time in my life, we moved to another small town, like 20 minutes outside of the one that our dads grew up in. And I was only there for like 2 years, but we'd go back and visit a lot because we had a lot of family. And so I didn't meet my drummer at all, but I should have, though, because his dad and my dad were still friends, and you know, and but I didn't actually meet him until I was like 18. I was looking for a new drummer, and I was like, I need to have like a drummer that's like really good, a drummer that I can trust, that when we play live shows, I just know that he's always got our back no matter what, you know, like just a solid backbone to the live show. And my dad was like, you know what, I think I actually like might know someone, you know. He's like, one of my old friends, you know, I used to play in a band with, his son is like a really good drummer. And so I found him on YouTube, and he was making like drum videos on YouTube, and I was like blown away. I was like, holy crap, this guy's actually like really talented. And so I knew that he was wanting to come out to California, so I invited him to come and stay with me for a little bit. And he came out, and I was a little nervous too, because I'm not like a super social person. So inviting some like random guy to like stay with me for like a week was like kind of nerve-wracking.
I can imagine.
And but he came out, and we met, and we immediately hit it off, and we had so much fun, and we just immediately became like best friends. And then that snowballed into us becoming like, we basically became like brothers very, very quickly. And then he officially made the move out shortly after that and went to college out here. And I think he was the last one to join the band. I think by that point I knew I already had my bass player. I already had my guitar player, and our drummer was the last one to join Weathers.
Okay. I'm curious. You said your dad was in a band, you know, you're with your drummer's dad. Was he still playing like when you're born, or do you ever see him perform?
I mean, yeah, I've seen him perform quite a few times, just with like friends. Nothing like it, like just at parties, like nothing, not anything big or whatever. But like, they were basically in like a high school cover band, and then they tried writing originals for a little while, and then it just kind of fizzled out, that sort of thing. And then they, they were like the type of band back in let's see, our parents are kind of older. They were in high school in like the late 60s. Okay. And so they would play like the Prom and stuff like that.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah. So they I think in like 2000, I don't remember this because I was born in 96. So in 2000 they all did like a reunion and got the best group members together and made like a little just an album of some covers and originals. And
that's cool.
Yeah, he's got that. It's locked away in some vault somewhere.
Have you listened to it before or no?
When I was really little, he showed me some stuff, and he wasn't the singer. My dad was the guitar. He was like a backup guitar player, keyboard backup singer guy.
Oh, okay.
And yeah,
that's rad. So I'm sure he's pretty supportive of you and your career.
Yeah, no, I remember the first time I told him, I was like, I want to start a band. And he was like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, being in a band is really hard. And he's like, and it's really frustrating. And he was like, are you sure? And my dumbass 13-year-old self was like, yeah, I can do it. You know?
Sure.
So he has been super supportive, which is nice. It is nice to have some support. My mom, not so much, but you know, it's okay. So
she'll live with it.
Yeah, exactly.
I read that you met your guitar player at a battle of bands.
Yeah.
Manhattan Beach.
Yeah.
What were you guys in two different bands and you're both playing the same show?
Yep, we were in two different bands competing. And I had a band of 5 at the time, and he was a band of 3, and he was the singer and guitar player of his own band, because he's actually a really good singer himself as well. And I remember watching his band play and being like, you know, there's something here. Like, this kid is like, he's playing, you know, they think they played a couple originals, and we played some originals too, but I really liked his, and I was like, man, he's really good. And like, he wrote them by himself, and his voice was really good. And I was like, hey man, like, I know you're the singer of this band, but how would you feel about, you know, maybe part-time playing in my band as a guitar player and us just writing music together? Like, how would you feel about that? And he kind of like wasn't into the idea at first, but then he kind of came around and started hanging out with us a bit, and was like, you know, he played guitar for us, and was a backup singer, and we wrote music together. Mm-hmm. And eventually he decided to stick with us, which was pretty awesome. I feel kind of bad. I feel like I kind of tore him from his band.
Coached him.
Yeah, exactly. But he decided to stay with us, and I guess the rest is history, and we still write all the music together today. So
amazing.
It worked out really well.
Yeah. Did you say the drummer was the last member to like really form the band?
Yeah. So at the time, we weren't Weathers yet, and we were a band of 5. And I had my there was another guitar player at the time who's not with us now, and it's technically him and I first, and then came Brennen, our bass player, and then came Olsen, our guitar player, and then came our drummer, and then that other guy left, and then it just was us 4, and we decided to rebrand and be called Weathers and start new stuff. So
okay. And what you guys were still in high school at that point, or you were still in high school? Okay.
Yeah, it was the very like the tail end of high school. Like, so or wait, no. Sorry, no. We had just graduated high school, or at least I did. We're all different ages, but I graduated high school 2015, and it was that summer of 2015 when we decided to like change everything. And we went down to a 4-piece, and then we decided to rebrand, write new music. And it was, I would say, October of 2015 when we made our debut as Weathers.
Okay. And then stuff started happening pretty quickly for you. I mean, like, we were playing that record in I think maybe 2016. 2016 we started playing the record.
June of 2016 is like when it like first played on the radio, and we were freaking out.
Yeah. So you how did that all happen for you? Did you have was Happy Pills like, did you know that was a smash when you guys wrote it? Like, tell me about how stuff started happening.
A bunch of people were telling us like, you know, this song has something to it, you know, and we had written it with our manager actually at the time. And we were all like, this actually sounds huge. Like, it sounds like it could be something big, but we weren't totally sure. And we weren't even totally like in love with the song either. We were just kind of like, it sounds like something, I don't know. Mm-hmm. and let's see how it happened. So it was June, and we had never been played on K-Rock before, which was, as you know, is the LA like alternative station, and
biggest alternative station in the country.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, we had gotten a text from a friend, and they were like, the Happy Pills wasn't even released yet. It was like a couple of days before it was supposed to be released. And we got a text from a friend, and we were like, hey, I think your song is like playing on K-Rock right now. And we were like, what? And we sprinted outside. We were in the studio working on music, and it was just me and my guitar player. And we sprinted out to my car, turned it on, and we just heard the tail end of Happy Pills playing on K-Rock. Yeah. And then Ted Stryker was like, that was Happy Pills by Weathers, blah, 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 for your 420 feature. And we were like, holy crap. We started like screaming and running around the parking lot. Like we could not believe it. And we found out that a friend of ours had tweeted at Ted Stryker and was like, hey, you guys should play this song. And apparently he really liked it and played it. And then that was it. You know,
oh my god,
song wasn't even out yet. It's crazy.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, I wasn't sure like if you got on like Cat Corbett, like Locals Only or something, and that kind of blew up from there. But to have Stryker like premiered as like his 420 song, I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome for sure.
Oh my gosh. And that's crazy. You guys didn't even know.
No.
He just like
I had no
plays
idea.
it. And from there, did K-Rock add the record, or like what happened next?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. It added, and then we had just a ton of ads. I think we had like 33 ads in like a day or something like that.
Oh yeah. I mean, if they set like the precedence, I mean, if they add a record, it's like, okay, now 91X, so the station I was at, or I worked for Live 105 in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to pick it up, and it's kind of just like, I mean, they're obviously like a tastemaker station, and if you get on K-Rock, I mean, that's huge. And for them to add your record, I mean, what did that do for you guys right off the bat? I mean, obviously there's a bunch of eyes on you at this point, and then were record labels calling you, or like, tell me about that.
Yeah, we had record labels. You know, we had a couple record labels that were interested, and we decided to go with RCA at the time, and yeah, I mean, the rest was history. And then started making a bunch of music and recording a bunch of albums. Then we did the Kids in the Night record, which was awesome. I mean, that was a super fun record to record. I mean, we had not done a full album before, and so we did that, and that kind of solidified our fan base, because before that with Happy Pills, I felt a little fractured, like we weren't sure like what our core was going to be like. So we took some time to like write some new music and figure out like what our real like persona and like overall vibe was going to be. And that was like the Kids in the Night record. And we toured on that for a little bit, really built a fan base that was like dedicated, and like they're awesome. Like our fan base is just like, I don't have a personal connection with other bands' fan bases, but I would argue that while our fan base is small, like it's definitely probably one of the best fan bases out there. I mean, I've never seen a group of people so like inclusive and supportive and just awesome. I mean, it's great. It's so great. And then we released a bunch of singles for a while, and then recently we were kind of like, what, I think it's time to do another record. It's time to make a new album. And we started making new songs, and this new record that's coming up, it's really interesting. It's very different from Kids in the Night in that it wasn't all written at once like Kids in the Night was. It's songs from like, there's a couple songs on there that were written like a couple years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, and we've been sitting on it for a while because we knew we wanted it to be special and a part of something big. So we decided to hold on to that, like these like couple of these songs, and then we realized it was time, like for this record, it's time to put these songs on this album and see what happens. And we also wrote a bunch of new music that was very, very different. Stuff like C'est La Vie, for example, was very different for us. A lot of very electronic and totally different. And like Losing Blood is that way too. And then even Rehab is almost like a little bit of a mold of both, and I think that's the really cool thing about this album is you're going to get kind of like a mixed bag of like old and new,
I love that.
So that's what I'm really excited for.
Well, go back to your fan base real quick. I did see on your Instagram you guys were doing like you watch a movie with your fans. Like
yeah, we
tell me about that.
Netflix.
That's a creative idea.
Yeah, we do. We like to do. We're huge on movies. I'm a movie guy. I also like write and direct film out on the side, and I write and direct all of our like music videos and stuff.
Okay.
And so film has a huge influence on me, and it even influences our music and our overall image and everything. So I want movies and TV to be a part of the band in a way, you know? And so we introduced a thing called the, like, you know, Netflix parties, you know, with our posers. Our posers are what we call our fan base, is kind of a joke.
That.
And we, yeah, we started doing that. We pick a couple lucky fans. When I say a couple, I mean like 10 to 20.
Okay.
And then we start a group chat with them, and then we pick a movie, or we'll pick the movie, and then we pick our fans, and then we just watch it together on like a Netflix party, and it's super fun.
That's rad. Was that something that started out of the whole quarantine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think we're going to keep it going, though. Probably not as frequent as we were in quarantine, but I think it was fun enough that we'll keep it going for sure.
That's rad. That's rad.
Yeah.
Well, tell me where you guys were when that all happened. Like, were you on tour or working on this new record?
Yeah, so we were on a support tour when we started hearing grumblings of like this coronavirus, and we were all kind of like, oh, this sounds kind of serious, but we didn't think much was actually going to come of it. And then we were supposed to do our headline tour that we're doing in September. We were supposed to do that immediately after the support tour back in 2020, and then the virus hit hard, and we had to like push everything. And you know, we were in the lockdown, and you know, we were for like the first couple months, just because we thought it was, you know, everyone was like, oh, it's just gonna be a couple months and then it's all gonna open up again, you know. We kind of were just like, all right, let's just sit and chill and just like, you know, let's just keep writing music, but like, let's just relax for a little bit and see what happens. But then it ended up being this long thing. And we were like, okay, we need to learn how to adapt. So that's when we started doing live streams, and we started doing other things, and trying to adapt. And we actually became super busy, which was crazy. But yeah, it wasn't that bad in terms of us staying active.
Okay.
But it did suck, obviously, on a global scale, but on a personal scale, it did suck because we, you know, wanted to tour, you know, and we missed, you know, our live show is a huge part of our thing, and like we couldn't do that, and so we felt like we lost a lot of momentum, which was kind of a bummer. But we're building that back, I think, and we're really excited because we got this tour coming up in September.
That's going through huge October. Tour.
It's our first ever national headline run. So
wow,
people should definitely come out to this tour because it's going to be very special, like very special. So we're very excited.
Awesome dates on the tour. I mean, it's so many. It's incredible. It's going to be a busy fall.
Yes, I can't wait. It's gonna be great. I can't wait to see some familiar faces too. There's some fans that have become almost like friends to us, and like they're just awesome, and they always are super supportive. So I can't wait to see familiar faces and then new faces. And this is just going to be a really special tour because, like I said, it's our first national headline run ever. And like we've done headline shows and we've done like a West Coast run, but we've never done a national one. So it's very daunting, very scary, especially coming out of COVID with a little bit of like a momentum loss. But it's very exciting mostly though. So
I think people are going to take, it's going to be emotional, I'm sure. I mean, probably every show. It might be somebody's first show back in a year and a half.
Right. Yeah. I know it's going to be great. I mean, I'm hoping people flock to the shows now that they can. You know,
I think they will. I think people are going to take it less for granted now. They're going to come out to a weather show on a Tuesday night that they might have been like, oh, they'll come back, you know, in a month or two. Well, you never know now, you know, right?
Exactly. Yep.
I'm curious, like when you're on that, you guys were on the road, like in a support slot when the whole virus was happening. Were you like stuck in the middle of the world? I mean, or were you home by that time?
Yeah, we were home by that time. Like it was everything shut down once we were home. And the last show was March 5th on that support tour. So it was like right before. And at that time it was just grumblings. Like we just heard like little things like, oh, there's a new virus out. But like, you know, I mean, there's been lots of viruses that, you know, over our lifetime that have come and go, and like nothing of this scale has ever happened. So we didn't think much of it at the time, you know. But we were like, this one sounds a little different. It's a little serious, and we were a little bit scared, you know. But we weren't sure. We had no idea, you know, just like everyone.
Yeah, everyone in the beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
So like,
we had no idea.
Corona beer is causing you know, I remember seeing like fake headlines and stuff like that. Yeah. And that when it was kind of a joke, and then nobody really realized what the severity of everything.
Yeah, exactly. So,
So obviously got back, you had to readjust. But what about the record? Were you guys writing the record throughout the past year and a half, or?
Yeah, we had already, like I said, we already had some songs on there that were from a couple years ago. And so like we already had a good chunk of the record done. But we didn't want to like push back the record though. We were like, we can still write. I mean, like, my guitar player and I were very safe during quarantine, and we were getting like tested all the time and stuff. And he and I would get together and we would just continue writing a bunch, and then there were a couple of producers that we had been talking with and did some like virtual sessions with producers. And then when we felt safe enough and we were following all the rules, whatever, and then we got together with some producers and actually finished out some songs. And that was just kind of how we did it, very, very kind of DIY and just, small group sort of thing. Like it wasn't like a huge effort. Like it was kind of a small little thing. It was just very internal, and we just kept chugging along and we just made the best of it, did live streams and all that stuff. And, made a lot of new merch and whatever we could do to stay alive at the time,
Sure. I mean, what were those, was it harder? I mean, sure, it was different writing over Zoom or working with a producer like this way. Was it how was that to adapt to?
Not fun. I don't like that. I don't like it. No. I am so happy to not do that ever again. It's not cool. It's just awkward, trying to be creative and write music like through a screen. It just doesn't feel right. I'm lucky that my guitar player and I were at least like physically together, so it'd be us two writing with this producer, but so at least I had somewhat of like a real connection here, on my end. But it was still just weird, it was hard to get excited, it's hard to get excited through a screen,
Sure.
It's tough, like when you're being creative and all that. So
yeah, I'm sure it's hard to like kind of vibe in a way, or like get emotion off somebody, especially if you've never met them. You're just like, hey, totally. I'm gonna play you some songs, and then like, that'd be a weird situation to be in, I can imagine.
Oh, for sure.
What about the first live streams? That must have been strange as well, not playing to anyone.
Yeah, it was definitely strange. I mean, we felt, I don't know, it was fun to play again, and we were very out of practice, but it was just so awkward because you're used to like you finish a song and everyone's like clapping and cheering and stuff, but you'd finish a song in this setting and it would just be dead silence, and it was just like, I don't like
some
this.
Like thumbs up coming across your screen maybe, or some hearts.
Yeah, exactly. And then like there was a couple of times where it was like, oh, can we have Boyer, can we have him like read some comments off this iPad? So like we'd finish the song and I'd be like, excuse me while I go get this iPad, and I go like, like you hear my shoes like across the floor, and then I grab this iPad and I'm like, scrolling through, so this person said this, thank you, and like read through, and like it's just so awkward, it just was not, it totally, I feel like while it was fun for us to play and it was fun for the fans to see us play, which I totally get, it just was awkward, and I didn't like it, and it just the energy that was supposed to be there, the whole vibe, it just wasn't clicking, so yeah, we did 2 of those, and then we did some like Instagram live streams, which was a lot more fun because it was a lot less like, full out, just kind of more of an intimate thing. But yeah, it was just very weird. Don't want to do it again. I'm very excited for the world to go back to normal.
Right. I mean, it sounds like California opened up yesterday, right?
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
How is I mean, I just moved. We moved to Tennessee in March to Nashville. Yeah. So I'm from San Diego. We were back there 3 weeks ago for my brother-in-law got married, and it was still pretty tight, masks and all that. Is it like free for all now? I'm just curious.
Almost. Yeah. My roommate and I actually went to go see a movie last night, and he and I are vaccinated, fully vaccinated. And we had heard that like at like AMC, there, you don't have to wear a mask if you're vaccinated. So we just showed up, and we brought our masks with us just in case, but we showed up and all the employees were wearing masks, but everyone in the lobby was not wearing masks. And we just looked around, we were like, oh my, it feels like we're getting away with something, not wearing a mask now, And then we're like walking through the lobby, and we're sitting in our seats, and we're like, And I was like, all right, before the movie starts, I'm gonna like get up and go to the bathroom real quick. And then I got up and I was like, I don't have to put my mask on. Like, this is crazy. And it's like, it's such a normal thing that weirdly felt so special, you know? And it was kind of cool. And it was really nice that I got to do that with my roommate, who's one of my best friends. And so like, it was just super fun. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a freeing thing instead of like, oh, do I have my mask now? Then it's just like, yeah, it's so crazy how quickly we had to, everyone had to adapt to that, like a lifestyle of having a mask. And now hopefully it'll all be in the past, but
yeah, hopefully, my gosh, that'd be great.
Yeah. Have you guys had a chance to play it all yet, as far as like a live show in front of anyone?
No, not yet. But hopefully, you know, I mean, I'm praying that nothing crazy happens and we just stay on this course and we get to play our tour. Like our tour and our album. That's just what I'm looking for. I'm looking forward to. I'm just so excited. I cannot wait. And I'm really excited for the fans to get a hold of it.
And it comes out in August 13th, a new record?
I believe so. Yeah, August 13th. Yeah, very excited.
Do you have any other songs coming out prior or before then, or is it just Rehab and then you're gonna kind of wait on that until the record?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm just like, I can't wait. It's super excited. August 13th, and it's gonna come out, and then we'll be on the road touring on the album. So it's just gonna be, it's gonna be great.
I can't wait, man. That's amazing. And thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate you hanging out with me today.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me.
Of course. I do have one more question before I let you go. I want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
Advice for aspiring artists. I would say stay true to yourself, you know, kind of like what you hear about, you know, stay, you know, that the stereotype of like, don't get lost and all that stuff. Stay true to yourself, create music that you want to create. But also I would say, don't be afraid of criticism. Like you gotta be able to adapt and change, you know, at least to your abilities. I mean, if you're adapting and changing and you're unhappy, then it's probably just not going to work out for you. But like, if you can open yourself up to a lot of criticism and change. I mean, the amount of change that Weathers has gone through and the amount of criticism we've gotten is just insane. So like, but we're still here and we're enjoying it and having a lot of fun. So I would say, stay true to yourself, be happy, but you need to strike a balance of definitely a lot of criticism and be open to exploring new avenues for yourself and all that. So.